Welcome to Blue Talks.
You can be louder than that. Come on now. There we go. All right. Just get going. Well, good morning. My name is Ian Martin. Thank you to Corey and the Blue Talks and everyone that's here and putting all this together. My name is Ian. I've been an Army medic. I've worked in technology. I've been a parish priest for the last 15 years. I've got a master's degree. I have an undergraduate, emerging coach. I've been around. And this morning, I'd like to talk about the challenge that something that affects people in their personal lives. It affects businesses. It affects leadership. It's the challenge of turning a dream into reality. And there's a process to this. For me, the process starts with honesty, dreaming and visioning, confidence, and risk-taking. So let's start with honesty. Honesty is the foundation for where you're going to turn a dream into reality. It involves who you are, what you want, and what you're capable of. It's easy to get caught up in the expectation and opinions of others. And you can even take those opinions and expectations and those little roles and take them on as limitations for yourself. And the hard part comes when you're able to push those things aside and do the hard work of being really honest with yourself. When you become in tune with who you are, it means you're going to have to look at your strengths and your weaknesses. You're going to have to recognize your own fears, and you're going to have to grow into your desires. Honesty is at the core, the foundation of turning any dream into reality. Well over 20 years ago now, I was in a rotten place in my life. Don't get me wrong. On the surface, I had quite a lot going for me. I'd been in the Army. I had lots of great stories. I was dating an Indian model. I had a car that was in pretty good shape. I had a decent relationship with my mother and my sister. I had a healing relationship with my dad. I had people I could go out and spend some time with. But on the inside, I was miserable. There was a disconnect on the inside, and it was only creating a larger tension that was only grating and only hurting and getting harder and harder to live with every day. So I had to do something about it. I got my car, drove to my childhood school, parked the car and walked the exact middle of the soccer field. For whatever reason, the soccer field is where I needed to be. And in the background, I could see the chain link fences lining the space. And the highway was in the background, and the sounds of emergency vehicles and trucks were going by. It was lit by the mostly working streetlights, and it was cold. It was cool. The air was that sharpness you could feel on the end of your fingers. It's uncomfortable, but you could just kind of be there. And I got to the middle of the field, and the inside erupted to the outside. Where are you? I'm alone. I'm miserable. Come out, coward! I yelled for well over an hour and a half. I yelled about my parents' divorce. I yelled about the relationship that I was in that was, let's call it rough at best. I was trying to get in touch with my dad, and that didn't quite work. I was going to work and I was good at whatever I was doing, but I was never satisfied. I was miserable and unsatisfied in every way that mattered to me. I was the crazy person you warn your kids about in the school park at night. My voice was hoarse and it hurt. And when I stopped, I found myself back in the middle of that same field, in the same spot, But this time, I was sitting, and there was a stillness, and there was a calmness. I could smell the ground like it was new. The grass blades were dewy and fresh, and the wind, while still chilled, felt more like an embracing arm going across my back. And something else came out. Something I didn't expect. Whoever you want me to be, I'll be. Wherever you want me to go, I'll go. I can't do this alone. I just want to be me. Help me just be me. I did that sort of exercise, unbeknownst to me, for at least the next half of a year, just going to the park and yelling at the wind. At least that's what I thought it was. At the time, I would have said it was a wind, but I think today I would call it my first honest prayer. And people were added to my life, and others just left. And I couldn't see the change in the moment, but when I look back, I can see things were shifting in ways I could not have imagined. And challenges that were once there were no longer challenges that seemed insurmountable. Instead, they felt like stepping stones into a larger journey of somewhere which I couldn't see exactly, but I just knew I had to go on. Honesty with ourselves is the building block of turning any dream into a reality. And when we have our dreams, see, dreams are those things, they're little seeds that get planted, the seeds of imagination. They get planted in us. They hold on and bring us forward to imagination and creativity. Sometimes dreams spark a space in us that are connected to our deepest wants and desires, and they reflect ourselves and reflect who we maybe want to be. Dreams are incredibly important for us all to hold on to. And there are dreams that we dream, and there are dreams we need to live. There are dreams we dream, and dreams you need to live. And a dream you need to live is a vision. A vision is something that comes with energy and passion. There's a force, there's a drive behind it. It comes with passion and purpose, and it needs to be lived out into everyday life. A vision also means it's going to take effort. It's going to take some work. You're going to have to roll your sleeves up and do the hard work of planning and isolating and seeing where you want to go. Where is that dream taking you? That vision is calling you forward to somewhere, so you need to crystallize that goal. And somehow you know that no matter what comes up, your firm confidence is going to take you there. You don't know all the challenges, you don't know everything about the path, but the peace that you know is just going to arrive will happen, and the hard work of planning your vision out will help you realize where you need to end up and go. Visions are dreams that need to be lived out and need to be taken seriously. But on the other hand, there are other kinds of dreams, kind of like wishful thinking. These are more like a passive hope than an active pursuit. These dreams are great because they keep our creativity going, they keep our minds moving, our intuition moving, they keep us in a positive, wonderful space, and they can be numerous and they can be fleeting, but there's no drive behind them. They keep us going, and we need to have that, but we need to be careful that we don't substitute wishful thinking for a vision. So we need to have a way of sorting through those things. And here are 4 things I came up to test whether it's just a dream or wishful thinking. 1, reality check. Have you talked with anyone about this? If you can't talk with someone about it, maybe you're not ready, maybe you just like dreaming, and that's fine. 2, do you have any evidence? However you look at evidence, is there anything in your life or around you that you can see, that you can put together and see, yes, this can happen. This is a way forward. If you're not willing to take those pieces in that step, maybe you need to look at something else. 3, are you emotionally charged? If you're emotionally charged, perhaps you really just want something to be true, that you're ignoring the warning signs that are really coming that can save you a world of hurt. Lastly, do you want to do anything about it? If you don't want to do anything about it, you maybe just fell in love with the idea and went for the ride, but you don't really want to do anything with it when we're honest with ourselves and our dreams. When we're honest with ourselves and our dreams, it's going to mean it means we're going to have to be vulnerable with ourselves. It means we're going to have to be honest about the shame that may be there that we don't want to look at. It means we're going to have to perhaps even forgive ourselves or others, and we don't really want to look at that. Dreams are dreams that you need to live out, and they are reflections of who we are and who we ought to be. And we need to take that seriously. Now, I know when we talk about dreams and visioning and all these other fun things, we don't want to leave that space because, quite frankly, it's a fun space to be in. So I'm going to call you all back and stay with me for a moment because we have to do something with it, and that means we got to talk about some confidence. And there's a difference between confidence and recklessness. Confidence is different than recklessness. Years ago when I was in the Army, we were lucky enough to get some rappelling training. Rappelling is when they give you a rope and you tie it around your body and to turn it into a seat that you can rappel down the side of a wall or out of a helicopter. It's those things the soldiers see descending down with their gear to go in and take out something. I got some of that training as an Army medic. So we got the training, we took the rope, and we learned how to turn a seat, and that rope we transformed to be a tool, gaining a little confidence over our environment and what we were about to do because we'd never done it before. And when the day came, we had learned the theory, and the day came to go up the tower. And we one by one went up to the tower, we tied our seats, and the first person got up and clipped onto the descending rope. She leaned herself over the edge. The sergeant was at the top, and as she laid horizontal to the ground, holding onto a rope, with her hand behind braking, she waited for the sergeant to go. You can hold on yourself onto a rope for a very long time just here, because as soon as you let your grip go, you descend fast. She said over, she's ready to go. The sergeant said go, and she took her first step. There is a difference between putting your feet on the ground, which is a normal thing to do, and putting your feet on a wall. This requires your feet going this way, not to the ground. So the first brave person got up, she went to let go, and she took a step as if she was standing on the ground. And immediately she fell and turned into a pendulum, whacking herself into the side of the wall. Thank God for helmets. She put herself back together, got her foot back, and then she took a little step, this time where it needed to go. And then another little step, which turned into a hop. And before she knew it, she was at the base, and we were thrilled. Next person got up. Let's call him Ralph. Rappeller Ralph got up. Rappeller Ralph was supremely confident in his ability to do something he had never actually done before. I can distinctly remember Ralph saying, "You just got to go in. You people just don't know what you're doing. You got to go in, all in, and just do it." So he got up. He clipped on. He got over the edge and waited for the sergeant to say go. The sergeant said go, and Ralph went. Ralph went down that rope faster than anyone else had that day. He also hit the wall harder than anyone else that day and laid a little crater at the base when he hit the ground, knocking himself out. Now, yes, it is concerning when a fellow trainee has knocked himself out doing a training exercise. It is also rather amusing that someone has a little bit of a hit. So he unclipped himself and kind of crab walked away, and then it was my turn. So I got up and I clipped on, and I was conscious that I did not want to hit the wall, but I also didn't want to do what Ralph did. So I got up, clipped on, edged over, waiting for the sergeant to say go. And I went. I loosened my grip a little bit, and I made sure to put my foot forward and took a little step. That turned into a little step, turned into a hop. And next thing you know, I was bounding down the side of that wall as if I had done it for my entire life. The adrenaline and the exhilaration was unspeakable. I was doing something I only watched in movies, and I was doing it as if I had done it my whole life. We did that 2 or 3 times, and the treat came when we heard the sound of a helicopter coming in. And those who were bold enough to say, let's go, went in the helicopter. Myself and Ralph went in. Ralph flipped on, jumped out, made another crater. I went down with some confidence and control and had a great time. Confidence is more than just being bold and brash. It's about an appropriate mix of boldness and caution. It's about knowing your limits and stepping into them and pushing yourself just to keep moving in places you're not sure of. You build yourself, however you build yourself up with confidence. Some people need to read. Some people need to jump in and just go for it. Others have to, however you build it, build your confidence and take it seriously. But you have to do it. You don't want to go down the side of a wall like Ralph and be reckless, but you also don't want to be too timid. You still have to go down the rope. Your vision requires it. If you're honestly pursuing your vision, you have to do it. And that means you're going to have to be uncomfortable. That means you got to take some risks. And when you take some risks, they scare you. But that also means you get to trust yourself, and you get to trust all the pieces around you. You get to look for pieces of inspiration. If you haven't heard of KFC and Colonel Sanders, that guy was 62 before KFC got launched after a lifetime of started and failed businesses. He still went through and did it. However, you need to do it. You need to take it seriously. No one can do your vision for you. It's yours. It is a gift that is ought to be here in this life. Will you regret not holding on to it? I couldn't do it. I couldn't regret it. And I found myself here talking to all of you. You have coaches, you have minds, you have resources at your disposal who want to help you if you take the risk. You have one of them talking to you right now. I'll take the risk with you and go for the ride. My name is Ian. You can find me at talkingwithpeople.com. Let's start an adventure and turn that dream into an honest reality. Thank you.